There's an old saying that goes something like this: when France sneezes, all of Europe catches a cold. Although there are a few different versions of this saying, they all mean pretty much the same thing. If something starts brewing in France, it usually ends up affecting all of Europe. Perhaps never has this saying proved more true than in the bloody year of 1848. Not surprisingly, the first of this year's revolutions occurred in France as the middle class, also known as the bourgeois, grew more and more intolerant of King Louis Philippe and his aristocratic cronies. Facing economic depression, a food shortage, inflation, and political inequality, the bourgeois were ready for change. When the French monarch refused to meet the needs of the common class, tensions rose into revolution, and King Louis Philippe was ousted from power. However, the bloodshed in France did not end. Upon ridding themselves of the king, the revolutionaries could not agree on how to run the country. Some felt voting rights were of supreme importance, while others created national workshops, which supplied jobs for the common people of France. When those who favored voting rights were elected into power, they closed these national workshops. Not very happy about losing their jobs, people rioted and blood returned to the streets of France. This chaos would soon lead to the election of one central figure within France. His name was Napoleon Bonaparte, and as history testifies, the French would find themselves again under the rule of a dictator. All in all, not the happiest of endings, yet France still set the fires of revolution across Europe. Seeing the monarch of France ousted from power, radicals throughout Europe caught the revolutionary spirit. Unfortunately, most would meet a similar fate to that of France. In Germany, radical groups began calling for the unification of German states. When Kaiser Friedrich Wilhelm IV of Prussia folded under the demands to create a Prussian assembly, the people of the German provinces became hopeful for themselves. Soon radicals from all over the German states convened at the Frankfurt Assembly in order to work toward the unification of the German provinces. Although the assembly did make some progress, the lack of a strong leader kept their hopes from becoming a reality. A similar scene played out in Central Europe as the people called for freedom from Prince Metternich and his Austrian Empire. At first, things looked rather promising for the revolutionaries. Vienna was taken by groups of revolutionary students and common class workers, while the nationalist Lajos Kossuth inspired the people of Hungary to call for a constitution. It seemed like the people of the Austrian Empire might just get their freedom. However, with the help of a strong army, the Austrian Empire regained control. From Vienna to Prague to Budapest, rebellion was crushed within the empire. Southern Europe also caught the revolutionary fever, but unfortunately its fate was the same. Fueled by the revolutionary spirit, the radicals of Italy moved to create their own democratic state. Like their other European counterparts, the middle-class Italians called for the unification of an independent Italy, free from Rome and the grips of the Austrian Empire of the North. For some time, these rebels experienced success. However, they pushed their luck a bit too far when they decided to rebel against the Pope, even going as far as to declare a guy named Mazzini as the head of the Republic of Rome. All seemed well for these rebels up until the point when Catholic France rode in to rescue their precious Pope and restore him to power. As the rebels were no match for the French, the revolution in Italy met the same fate as the others. The year 1848 was a year of bloodshed and revolution across Europe as the middle class rebelled against the aristocracy. Fueled by economic depression, a food shortage, and inflation, the common man of Europe had had enough. Spurred on by the ousting of the French king, Europeans across the continent took to the streets in the fight for freedom. Sparked by France and the concessions of the Prussian Kaiser, the radicals of Germany sought reunification of their homelands. However, without a strong leader, their plans failed. In this bloody year, the people of the Austrian Empire also fought for freedom. Although they came out strong from the gate, gaining control of Vienna and even working toward a constitution in Hungary, they too were foiled. Although their resolve was strong, they were no match for the armies of the empire. A similar fate met the revolutionaries of Italy. Although they too made some initial success, they overshot when they attacked Rome and the Pope. This was their undoing as Catholic France came to rescue the Pope and dealt the Italian revolutionaries a defeat.